What's going on, guys? In this one we're just building a mini terrarium for our powder orange and powder blue isopods. So with these ones I'm just building them out of plexiglass. Got a few sheets here that we'll cut down to size. Made a few smaller terrariums with glass. Decided I wanted to work a little bit with the plexiglass. It's got a little bit more flex to it, and since it's going to be small, it's a little bit easier to cut and a little bit cheaper as well. So we'll get these cut down to size. You basically just scratch them down where you want to cut it and then snap at the right spot. Then we're going to get these all taped together. We'll get those outside edges lined up just right. One of these is going to be sitting on top of the bottom pane of glass, and one of them is going to be sitting just outside. That way they all line up a little bit better. You also see I'll run some tape along those inside edges so I can pull that tape up once we have the silicone down, get some nice clean lines. If you're thinking to yourself, I don't think silicone sticks to plexiglass. You know, this thought actually crossed my mind as well. Tried to Google it, but didn't have a lot of success finding exactly what the best option was. Some things still said silicone could work. Thought I'd try it. So if you didn't already know, silicone does not stick to plexiglass super great. I will say the tape and the silicone, it all ended up looking really great here. We got that all pulled up. Pretty much went as planned, other than the, not sticking to the plexiglass and holding everything together part. So you'll see here shortly, once we let this dry, get everything pulled apart, that plexiglass and silicone kind of just pop away from each other. Oof. So obviously not quite what we were hoping for. It looks really good, but you can see it up closer here. That plexiglass is just too smooth of a surface for that silicone to adhere to. I don't know if I had scuffed it up, if that would have helped more. I mean, it definitely wouldn't have hurt. But basically what I ended up doing was just running a bead of super glue along that edge to hopefully strengthen that up a bit. But you know what we got to do. Cranked out another one really quick, essentially the same process. This time decided to just use super glue instead of the silicone. So you can see it's taped up all the same way. Instead of running that thick bead of silicone, I'm just running that super glue so it seeps into the seam in between both panels, as well as gives it a little bit of strength inside. Putting quite a bit of super glue on this first one. When you put this on, you can see the light start coming through in between the panels as that super glue kind of fills in. So that's just what I'm watching for as I put this on, making sure it gets in between each one of those panels really well. Then while that super glue is still liquid, I kind of just move it around so it flows in and around everything. Ended up putting kind of two layers on. We got that first one, gave that a little bit of time to dry, and then got a second one on, just so you have something on the inside, a little bit like the silicone, holding everything together. Mess with that for a little bit, and then gave that one some time to dry as well. Gave that second one some time to dry, and then pulled the tape off. Obviously with the super glue kind of seeping in between, you're going to end up having a little bit of that tape that gets stuck with that glue. So I just used a razor blade, kind of scratched that off, and then got just a little bit more super glue on there. I think that the one with the silicone and the super glue ended up working a little bit better, just because that silicone does sure up the entire frame a bit, but since we're going to be fairly careful with these, I'm not too worried about it. Now that we've got the actual terrariums built, we're going to work on the substrate. So the base of this is going to be a little bit of cocoa fiber, then we're going to get some sphagnum moss in there. Going to break up a little bit of leaf litter just to have some extra stuff breaking down, as well as just some moss just randomly growing in there, mix it into the substrate. And we've got some orchid bark that'll start to break down and give some organic food as well. Poured in quite a bit of water. That sphagnum moss and coconut fiber soak up a decent bit, and then we got that mixed together. Then we're going to get just a little bit of a gravel layer here at the bottom, just as a tiny bit of a drainage layer. For the powder blue ones, I'm using this kind of red gravel, so they pop a little bit more. Then we'll get a bit of that substrate on. For the powder orange, just using some kind of river rock, as well as getting that substrate on top for everything. So you'll see I got it there. It's a decent bit of a layer so they can kind of burrow. Then we're going to get some springtails added as well, just an extra little cleanup crew. Then we'll get these first powder orange isopods into the terrarium here. Then we'll drop those powder blues in. Now that we've got those built, we'll move them upstairs to kind of where they'll be staying. Got the two with the orange as well as the blue ones in there. Tape that one up with the super glue. That corner kind of popped, so I got some extra super glue added. Not quite sure what I'm doing for a lid for these for right now. Plastic wrap is going to do the trick. But here's a little closer look of the final product. Thanks for watching, guys. Here's a few more videos I think you'll enjoy.